from Media Peruana Knits, here today to talk to you about Me Made May. So somehow it is May. Every year this happens, and every year I'm still amazed that January and February and March just drag on, and then as soon as April gets here, everything starts flying. So somehow April is over, and we are in May. And if you are active on social media, you have probably heard about Me Made May. Me Made May started within the sewing community, and I was actually just doing a little bit of reading from the person who started it all. And then as it started gaining some traction, some people in the knitting community also sort of picked it up. It's a little trickier with the knitting community because in a lot of areas in the Northern Hemisphere, by May, it is too warm to wear most of your hand knits.
Is it hot in here?
That is largely the case here in Maryland. Sometimes you can get some hand knits in at the beginning of the month, but by the end of the month, absolutely not. So right now it is 86 degrees. I am wearing a hand knit. This is my outline tee, which is a pattern by Jessie May that I test knit a couple of years back. And it is made out of, I want to say linen. I don't remember if it's 100% linen. I think it is though. It is definitely not wool. However, Saturday, of course, for Maryland sheep and wool, it is supposed to be rainy and 65 degrees. So I'm going to be able to squeeze a sweater in there, I think. But in a lot of places, the time for hand knits is coming to an end. So Me Made May is a little bit trickier for the knitters among us. And the person who started Me Made May started it as a personal challenge to actually put to use her handmade wardrobe. And she is, as I said, a sewist. And this was back in 2010. So, wow, almost 15 years ago. And social media definitely existed in 2010, but it wasn't what it is today, especially Instagram. Things have changed quite a bit. So now when you see Me Made May, it seems to be a lot of people documenting their daily handmade outfits, which is great. But that was not her original intention. Her original intention was her personal pledge to wear handmade every day in the month of May. So the person who founded Me Made May, her name is Zoe Edwards. And so she has a interview from Peppermint Magazine in 2022. And I just wanted to sort of read her comment about what the purpose of the Me Made May challenge is. So it says, the goal is to improve your relationship with your handmade wardrobe. And so to do that, participants pledge to wear their Me Mades more often or in different ways for the month. But more importantly, she emphasizes that it is really a personal challenge. So, especially people who are new to sewing or knitting or whatever are not going to have enough handmaids to to do this, every single day for 31 days. She really emphasizes that it is about setting a personal challenge and goal for yourself. And then she also mentions that it's a wearing challenge rather than a making challenge. And by that, there's no need to make anything new at all. But of course, we can all interpret this in different ways. So if you personally want it to be about making new things, you could certainly do that. So even though we really kind of see the social media aspect coming into play a lot more now.
I Facebooked it on Facebook.
That was not the original intention. And it was really more about putting handmade stuff into use and really seeing how you can use your handmade wardrobe regularly, not just saving it for special occasions or things like that. So I have been kind of considering what I wanted to do with Me Made May this year. It is so fun to see everyone's handmade outfits on Instagram, as much as Instagram lets you see anything. these days. And it can be really inspirational. But personally for me, getting, looking presentable and taking photos of my handmade outfits every day is more of a challenge than just making sure I'm wearing a handmade every day. I did do it pretty much last year. I didn't have as much of a sewing wardrobe last year, so as we got later into the month of May, it got much more difficult. I definitely have, I think, maybe not enough quite for a brand new handmade every day in May, but I think I can do it. But what I've decided is that this year I'm not actually going to document it on social media. Just because, one, again, the hassle of like looking decent and getting the photo is more than I had time to deal with and energy to deal with. But two, I also think it is kind of drawing my focus away from where it should be for Me Made May, which is getting too wrapped up in the social media aspect and the sharing aspect, to the detriment of, enjoying the fact that I have made these items and am able to use them. I just think there's nothing wrong with it for people who want to do it, but this year in particular, I'm really, I may share a couple of outfits here and there when, if it's Mother's Day and I am, kind of dressed up and looking nice, I'll probably take a photo and share that outfit. But I'm going to put my focus back on sort of playing in my wardrobe, trying new things with my wardrobe, and getting an enjoyment out of the fact that I have, a relatively extensive and growing handmade wardrobe that I am able to use. So this year, if you are following me on social media, you will not see me documenting a daily outfit. But what I've decided to do is to just keep track of what I'm wearing in my planner. So that way I will have a record of what I was able to wear and what I was able to put together, and see how things got used, but I will not be getting bogged down in the photos and worrying about things like that. So personally, I am going to be keeping track of my outfits. I'm just not going to be documenting them. And I am making the goal to wear a handmade every day. Every day, every day, every day. But aside from that, I have also decided to just set some goals for Me Made May that are focusing on me making or, as a knitter and a baby sewist, obviously I put a lot of a lot of my energy into making, but not as much as I would like, because I get, bogged down in other things, and then I also end up doom scrolling on Instagram. I just waste so much time.
Farewell, Instagram, Facebook, and Nextdoor.
It's been 5 months since I set some goals at the beginning of January. So maybe it's a good time to kind of refocus and recenter on some new goals. So at the bottom of my Me Made May page, I have set up a little area to establish some goals for the month. And I've put a few down. I'm not sure if these are going to be all of my goals. It's still relatively early in the month, but I do need to get started on some of the goals. So obviously wearing a handmade every day. I'm starting strong. I did for the first 2 whole days of the month that have occurred so far, because today is May 2nd. I have done it. We will see how that goes as the month progresses. So some other goals that I have are to finish the sample of the sleeveless top design that I have been working on forever. I've been working on it since last summer. And then I did put it away for the winter because I knew it wasn't, nobody wants a sleeveless top in January. And then I recently pulled it back out. I'm probably about halfway done. I finished the front and I'm about halfway done the back. And I'd really like to just right, especially right now, like I'm working through like a really kind of boring stockinette part, but I'd really like to get this out into the world. So I'm setting a goal to actually finish that sample this month. I would also like to sew myself a new dress for Mother's Day. I have been focusing on sewing some tops recently because that has been a gap in my wardrobe. And so I think I've done finished sewing 3 tops in the last month. And I took a break from dresses for a while because 1, I did a fair number of dresses last year, and 2, I think I need to be a little bit more realistic about what my current size is.
Must be marked wrong.
That's kind of a whole nother story, but suffice to say, as you move into middle age, it is true that nothing about your diet and exercise will change, but your body will continue to change and things will not fit the way that they used to. You may gain weight or weight may shift, and things just don't fit the same way. That can be a struggle for women. I need to be a little bit more realistic in that regard. But I have picked out a dress for Mother's Day. I have some lovely fabric. So this is just a little piece of the fabric I am using. It's just getting a little bit blown out here, but it is sort of there we go. It's a darker green than it appears because of the ring light, but you can see it's got this kind of lacy ribbon detail along it. So this is the fabric I will be using to make a True Bias Laura dress. I will include a link in the description box in case you are also a sewist to want to check that out. Very cute. I have cut out the pieces. I need to get buttons. It uses shank buttons, so not flat buttons, buttons that kind of stand out from the fabric, because instead of buttonholes it has loops. So I do need to get the buttons for that, and I don't have a whole lot of time until Mother's Day, but I have some time. So I need to do, I think that's the last part of that project that I need. I have everything else. I have the fabric, I have cut out the pattern pieces. I need to start cutting out the interfacings. It doesn't have pockets. And I have been pretty much putting pockets in everything. And so I was considering adding that, but the style of the dress, I actually don't, I could put pockets into the side seams, but I think with the cut of the dress, it would interfere with the way that it lays on the body. So I am gonna skip the pockets this time. So my goal is to make that for Mother's Day. And then the last goal that I have established so far is to try something new with crochet.
Oh, it's just crochet time.
So I started teaching myself crochet last year. So far, all I have done is start a blanket that is trucking along. It is just double crochet with some increases and decreases to make a chevron shape. As a new crocheter, it's very slow, and it's a blanket, so it's going to end up being very big, but it's very slow. And so learning anything new with crochet has stalled because I'm just doing these same stitches over and over. So I don't know what that new thing is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to try some kind of a simple garment, maybe a granny square project. I am not sure. Definitely, I'll be putting updates in the podcasts when they come out. We shall see. But that is the other goal that I've established for Me Made May, is to try to make some progress in developing my crochet skill beyond just these 3 stitches basically that I know for making this blanket. If you are a crocheterist and have a suggestion for a good kind of beginner project that's also more instant gratification, like even though I'm a slow hooker, it's relatively small, so it's going to be finished quickly, I would leave a comment. Would love to hear that. I do have a couple of cute crochet patterns. I think I did a video about this. Crochet patterns that I'm interested in. So maybe I will go ahead and tackle one of those. We will see. And then one last goal I have for myself for Me Made May is to really step back and take a look at my handmade wardrobe with a bit of a more critical eye. And I'm hoping to do this at the end of the month where, you know, I've already had a good 3.5 weeks of trying to wear my hand makes, and really take a look at what is it I'm wearing and what am I not, and you know, why did I make this if I'm not wearing it? Why am I not wearing it? Is it not the right size? Is it not my style anymore? What can I learn from this? What can I take from this into the future? You know, so whether that's stop sewing this style of dress because you don't actually wear these, or stop sewing so many dresses because you don't actually wear dresses that often, which I'm pretty sure I already know, and I still just keep doing it. And then also maybe weed things out a little bit. And then, you know, in terms of getting rid of clothes, you know, when you clear out your wardrobe of cheaper stuff, you're not so fussed about where it ends up. But with hand makes, you know, I don't want to just donate it to to the Goodwill, who's just going to throw it in the trash. If they, you know, I'd like to maybe figure out a way to rehome some both knits and sewn items that you know, obviously that are in good condition, but that I am just not using.
Enjoy your new home.
Now, of course, this time of year, like I said, it's the weather is so variable that there are some things I just won't be able to wear because it will be too hot or it will be too cold. So obviously bearing that in mind, but you know, really considering especially things that are appropriate for the season and for the weather. If I'm not wearing it, why am I not wearing it? Can I fix it so that I will wear it? Can I make it a little bigger or make it a little smaller? Or does it need to find a new home? I think this will be especially helpful because May is also the season where I'm going to clean up and store my sweaters until October, November-ish. And, you know, there's no point in cleaning, yes, but storing away sweaters that I'm not even going to wear again. So this is really sort of the ideal time to be doing that, particularly for knitting. So, like I said, I'm not sure how rehoming some things might work, but, you know, I will certainly keep you guys posted in upcoming podcasts and let you know if, you know, maybe I'll do a sweater raffle or, you know, something like that on Instagram or something, just so that I know that things that I've made are going to people who can appreciate the value of hand making things. And even though, you know, Zoe has told us that this is not necessarily a making challenge, I did decide to go ahead yesterday and get started on a new project to kick off Me Made May. So this is my swatch, and this is for the summer slipover, pattern by Sophie something or other that I will, you know, include in the description box down below. This I am working up in a Knit Picks woolen cotton. I don't actually know that woolen cotton is really going to work for this as a summer garment. It is too hot here generally in the summer to wear wool, and the chances of me finishing this before it gets too hot to wear wool are basically zero. But the nature of the fabric and the nature of the garment, I don't think a 100% DK weight cotton, I think it would be too heavy. It needs flexibility because of the stitch pattern, which is what's it called? A mock rib. And I think 100% cotton just is not going to work for this. So I went ahead with the wool and cotton. The pattern is done in a cotton wool blend. How that's going to work for actually wearing it, I'm not sure. It may be something that is nice sort of at the beach when you get that nice sea breeze, especially in the evenings. It may be something that is nice for September when things are starting to cool down, especially in the mornings and evenings. we shall see. But I did want to sort of kick off the month with a new garment project. And so there it is. And future updates about that will, of course, be shared on the podcast and on Instagram. Not that Instagram's going to let you see any of my stuff anyway, but that's okay. So that is my take on Me Made May this year. I would love to hear what you are doing for Me Made May. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the challenge in general. If you have any specific goals, if you're going to be documenting your handmade outfits, any of that, please leave a comment and let me know. I would love to hear about them. I would love to, if you are sharing, I'd love to follow you on Instagram and just love seeing what everybody's doing. It is really inspirational, at least in my opinion. So thanks again for joining me for another video. If you did enjoy it, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos mostly about knitting here every Saturday. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Media Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video.